Spotted horses and negative handprints is a little bit different. So we're getting into those painted pieces and we see the horses and we see those negative handprints. So in other words, instead of the hand being represented by being colored itself, we're seeing the coloring around the hand, creating a negative space, thus negative handprints. Space perhaps here is chosen because it took the shape of a horse's head and it curves, animating the figures. And what I'm referring to here, if I bring up my pen, is right here. You see in the stone, there's that form of a horse's head. Now, we've all sat there in our rooms staring at the ceiling or wherever else and seen forms, seen shapes, and wanted to draw them out. And that's what's happening here. Heck, we do it doodling in notebooks, or at least we did back in the 90s when we had notebooks. So it's the same sort of idea. That may have been why they put the horses here in the first place. Also, horses at the time are going to be a food source, not something they're riding necessarily. Sorry, it happened. And then we have these handprints, primarily negative. And here we see that airbrush technique, blowing the charcoal over the surface. An even simpler technique, rather than reeds in a bowl, would be to put the paint in your mouth and simply blow it out at the form. Either way, you get a similar result. And it may be the equivalent of a signature. You know, I was here, I did this, or maybe I killed this animal and am responsible for it, or maybe I'm the shaman that saw it. There's a lot of different possibilities here. We don't know a lot about the piece. What we can say is that it does represent horses, so they are going to be important at the time. The handprints, hands tend to be fairly individual, and so they may well act as signatures. The additional spots that we see may be symbolic, the spots that are around the horses. So we see, for example, up here, a series of spots. And that may be a count. For example, here's how many horses we saw. These may be male and female, and we're seeing sort of a count underneath them as well. There's a lot of possibilities. Another one is that we're looking at things that were added hundreds or thousands of years later by another group. We're just not sure, and that's the beauty of prehistoric art.